Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is on the Bombardier subclass. To make your Bombardier, go select New Hero, Rogue, and select Bombardier. The Bombardier is certainly an interesting and unique subclass with a peculiar playstyle. You will have various flasks with different elemental types that you will throw and put a ground effect. It then kind of becomes about looping enemies into the ground effect or just simply stacking it on top of them to get them dead. I will say that this subclass does seem a bit like a meme, kind of like the Trapper. It would be very difficult to play this beyond any difficulty that goes above higher than Purgatory or Doom is my guess. But if you want a good maybe solo challenge run, this might be a good pick for you, or if you're playing with multiplayer, this could be a fun kind of supportive class as well. The various flasks that she has available seems to be one that makes a lightning patch, a fire patch, an acid patch, and I've also seen one that is essentially a knockback potion that I believe is doing acid damage. Finally, she also has the use of an arcane flask, which is shown here. The first trait worth mentioning, and honestly I think this might be a pretty good pick regardless of what else you do, would be Pyromaniac. This will increase the flask damage that you deal with your fire flasks, and you will lose AC, though I am guessing that with her, AC won't be much of a priority as it isn't for basically any other ranged class. Another trait that is unique to her, the one that I am definitely unsure of, is Toxic at Heart. It will increase the rate that your acid will burn at, but you will not be able to score critical hits, which honestly I'm not sure if she's even based on crit, but the minus 40% acid damage does seem difficult to work around. You'd have to stack much more acid, though it would be burning faster. Take this at your own discretion. Another option worth taking, and this could be maybe more for a hardcore run, would be the combination of both Resolute Guard and Unshakable. This will essentially give you a 10% stun threshold bonus, as well as a large amount of resistances, though you will be losing AC in the process. Again though, I probably wouldn't worry too much about AC, given that it isn't a priority for most range classes. Bend the Rules was also recommended to me by a player that said they knew a bit about Bombardier, as this will unlock the Throw Further perk, which can be quite useful for her and will increase your flask throwing range. Regarding perks on her, she has many mage-like affinities, going from fire, arcane, lightning, and acid affinity, to also burn in hell, which will increase the amount that your damage will tick based on your various flask types. This will, however, comprise a very large amount of perks if you are going to go into these. It will be 60 plus total perks if you want to get all of these maxed out. Aside from these perks though, she really doesn't have many Bombardier specific perks or synergies to go into, so this may really just be the best route if you're going for mostly damage with her. And though I don't usually recommend any of the gain flat stat perks in my videos, for her I may, because simply I don't see many other options on where to go. I have been told that gain dexterity and gain magic will go into her main stats, which are dexterity and magic. It's also been suggested to get the Throw Further perk, which will increase your distance of flask throwing by 1 and 2 tiles when you have this many points into it, though you will have to get quite a bit of levels in order to unlock these perks. As far as her synergies go, I'm gonna be honest, she seems a little underbaked. She does not have any class-specific synergies for her, so it's gonna be up to you whether or not you want to try and target things that are more offensive or defensive-minded. But I'm not sure that you'll even really have the time or perk points enabled to go for these synergies, given that you're gonna likely be dumping into her affinities and not have much else room to go anywhere. Gearing on her is basically going to be wanting a collection of different flasks based on whatever type of enemies you're going up into. You will likely have to switch these flasks pretty often as well, given that monster immunities are going to change often. Flask damage is affected by percent weapon, percent element, dread, and ruin as well. I'd say it's also a sure bet to go for things that are defensive, like faster hit recovery, and though I haven't tested it myself, I would guess that faster attack also allows her to throw the potions faster, but I'm not totally sure, and that experimentation will fall on you, the player. As far as stat allocation goes, dexterity and magic will be your primary stats, given that those are the stats you need to use the highest possible flask types at endgame, if you happen to get there. Vitality can likely be a close third, as having life will be good, though I think you may also be able to run a mana shield on her, given you will have high magic, and then of course strength only in so much as you need to wear gear. Defensive layers, I would imagine, would be much like a mage or any other range class. You're going to want to prioritize resistances and arrow damage resistance. After that, DFE can also be helpful and is stronger early game than it is late game, so I wouldn't neglect that, and then also melee damage resistance probably being of a low priority, and AC, as my guess, being the lowest priority. Overall, the Bombardier seems like honestly a bit of a meme. It's probably a pretty hard class to play effectively, and I definitely wouldn't expect to be able to take it into a higher difficulty, but if you maybe want a little bit of a different change of pace or something that is refreshing and that it'll just be very new and unique, then I'd say give her a try and have some fun. I just wouldn't expect too much out of it, honestly. Again, much like the Trapper, this is definitely a hard mode class that will require a very specific playstyle and certainly some patience if you want to get far with her. Though I could honestly see it being fun to play in a multiplayer setup where you're able to just embody more of a supportive role and won't have all the pressure on you from monsters coming after you. Either way, I hope that this video gives you some insight into the Bombardier class, and I hope that you have fun playing it. Have a great time embodying the spirit of a spiteful ex-lover and throwing acid onto those who have wronged you in Diablo 1 The Hell 4 Bombardier.